I know you're hurting right now. It's not the greatest time to be in the market, so I'm hoping you do watch this video and understand what I'm going to teach you. This will help you understand how to make money in a volatile market by standing still. Hi everyone, welcome to the Crypto Mobster channel. I'm happy you're here. If you're new here, make sure you have subscribed, hit the bell button, leave a like. No hopium here, brute honestly. People don't like it, sorry, but it's just one of those things, right? If you want extra content, check out my Patreon. If you want to learn, check out Learning Crypto. Premium is a free trial for 30 days, so make sure you learn daily content. There's loads of stuff on there as well. If you want to learn, you're in the right place. Now, I know, I take the piss. I say what I think. I will take the piss out of bigger influencers who have got you wrecked, sorry, but that's me. If you don't like it, sorry, right? But at the end of the day, I've always vowed to be me and only me only. Now, with that, I don't have much emotion. I'm a bit of a callous kind of guy. I want to go on to the chart in a minute. I want to explain certain things of why things are happening and ultimately how you can kind of survive in any market without worrying about the narrative of a bull or a bear market, and also when you should be buying. Lots of influencers are telling you to buy the dip, buy now, buy the dip. We're just going to go up. We're just the one last shakeout. But realistically, though, there's a high chance we're going to go much lower. I've been tweeting about this for ages. Even about 3 or 4 days ago, I said we're going to 30k. And everyone's like, what? This was before we lost 39k. It's like, what? You know, people cannot get their head around looking at the technicals and looking at other traditional markets. The markets look terrible. They are looking horrendous. Yet people are going, one last shakeout, we're just going to go back up. We don't just magically go up if people are getting wrecked. This is twice this has happened now. How many people are going to keep getting up off the canvas and go, I'm just going to buy crypto, it'll be fine. It doesn't always work like that. So we need to look at the mechanics of that in terms of how to buy the dip properly. Now, I know it's subjective in terms of different teaching methods, but there's one way you should only buy the dip, in my opinion, and it is not on a day like this. There's a different variation for buying a dip, and there's a variation where you should not be buying the dip when market conditions are set as this. So, let's go to the screen, let's look at a few things, let's get into that little brain, psychological sort of things, so you understand how markets work, why they work in such a way, and why you might make a bit more money following this sort of strategy. So here we are. Make sure you do follow me on Twitter. There's a link below. It's pretty simple. I am kind of the enemy on Twitter. I kind of tweet a lot and I also say what I think. And people don't like that. It's quite funny in a way. But either way, right? I said this maximum punishment is when the total market cap is going down and the dominance is going up. We've been seeing that for about a week and a bit now. It's not good when it happens. Now let's look at some price analysis, right? BTC. Last line of defense was roughly 40k. We've lost it. We may well test that. I think we will at some point, whether we do things. Now, in terms of my chart setup, I have the total market cap in this top bit here. We've been below this point here. Basically, this is mimicking this. It's an index, right? It's the index of the overall market. If you're looking at USD pairs only, it's the best thing you can put on your chart. Just a top tip there. Learnings, right? So when you start talking about that, it gets interesting. I think, not financial advice, of course, we will probably correct up at some point. We will find a bottom. Don't know when that is. Whenever that happens, we'll know. So we've been following a pretty disgusting downtrend for a while. So you got an impulse here, pull back. We've gone right the way back down. We're melting all the way to these levels, right? Another one, if you missed that one, there's another one here where we went from this impulse, we pulled all the way back up to the 382. And we're on our way. I think we're going down to 32k, 31, 32k, give or take. We may well bottom there. We may well start correcting up. If that is the case, right, obviously we've got to look at the fact that, well, if that is the bottom from this point here, and let's just say we do go down to 32k, we probably will try and correct back up to see what can kind of, you know, maybe continue the downtrend, go even lower than that, potentially, who knows, but we will have to do an impulse back up at some point, right? And I'm thinking that last line of defense could be it. But I want to talk about buying the dips, right? Okay, because when you start looking at this, people are buying these levels. And I don't mind it on Bitcoin so much because that's a little bit different. The reason why I say that is because BTC is a bit of a different sort of asset. The problem is it's when you're doing it with your shit coins or your fairly volatile, brand new BSC minted shite coins, basically, it gets incredibly hard to do it. So there's kind of like, it's kind of pointless, really. So with Bitcoin, what you should do, and this is the top tip, go onto the weekly or the monthly chart and literally highlight key big levels, massive, monstrous levels. So for me, 30k would be a place where you could probably go, well, I got some fiat, I like BTC, I can buy it. The reason why I say that is because if you got BTC, you can go to the dominance chart. If this does start trickling back up, right? This is obviously the old layout with the purple and orange on it, sorry. If it does trickle back up to these levels, you're going to start noticing you can utilize your BTC and therefore buy some altcoins with the low BTC pairs. Because these pairs here, they're going to melt. They're going to melt even lower and they're going to carry on melting. And you're going to start noticing and feeling the pain. And especially when you start looking at the BTC pairs, they're all melting, right? The dominance chart's going up because these are all melting. So you can start looking at opportunities. And in my opinion, they're all high. So there's going to be a little bit of a flip there. So then you can utilize that BTC and buy low. And then if we are going to continue going up, guess what's going to happen? You're going to make more BTC. However, it's very, very risky to kind of presume that right now because the market looks pretty crap. Now, moving back a step, I spoke about BTC key levels, right? If you're going to look at key levels, as I say, BTC, not too bad. With Ethereum, yes, you could look at some key strong levels. But remember, it is still an altcoin. This could still get battered a lot more than BTC. If you're looking for optimum areas, you just got to kind of look at where things have kind of been before. So there's an example there, roughly around the previous all-time high. That wouldn't be a bad order, especially if you were considering buying at $4,800. Just going to say that. But for me, it's a risk because you do not know what's going to happen with altcoin markets. The altcoins will get battered. The altcoins will always hurt more than BTC. If Bitcoin becomes the king for a while, and the dominance starts going up to 50, 55, maybe even 60% again, your altcoin's going to be low. No matter how good they are fundamentally, people do not want to buy. It's called market sentiment. This is why I'm saying do not worry about bull and bear markets. Play what you see, right? You could have the best asset in the world and it be absolutely battered because people are scared and fearful, especially when you got idiots that tell you to buy the dip and it keeps on dipping. So you need to remove the emotion of buying the dip, right? Stop buying the dip. Wait for a bottom and a support. It's called patience, right? People are just buying, right? If I go to like the 6 hour time frame, for example, here, right? This is just melting, right? So if we're looking from, say, I don't know, this point here, so that's the what, 20, that's 4 days ago when it happened. That was just melting, melting, melting. People would have been buying here, thinking it was a support level or whatever. But realistically, you've got to wait a lot longer than just a couple of hours on a couple of time frame points, as in 6 hours, basically more than a day, to see if something is a genuine support. Because if it continues going down, well, guess what's going to happen? You're just going to find the next downtrend level, where essentially what's happened here is we're pulled up to like basically the 23%, give or take, or a bit higher than that, towards where the EMA is, and then we're just melting. We might well go down to $2,000 in the next move, easily, maybe even lower than that, which was in confluence between, hold on, previous levels from June, July, start of August nearly, levels of Ethereum. It's got structure there. It may well hit it, right? Why would you want to buy here when you can think to yourself, well, once it is a support, once it's consolidating, you can then buy. If it doesn't, it's going to go lower. And that's where people go, oh, it could go lower though. Well, obviously, you got to kind of think logically. So in a volatile market, you need to wait. You need to be incredibly patient and you need to wait for something to kind of confirm. Now, when you start looking at certain things, now, a lot of people say to me, well, why do you recommend this? Because, when we're looking at this previous dump, this is what happened in the summer. Look at how we dumped, we went right back up. People would have been buying this level, be like, oh, we're going back up again, sweet, yeah. And then all of a sudden, boom, the next downtrend. We've not confirmed an uptrend yet. We've not confirmed, basically higher low, which finally, just about on the wicks here, we get like a double bottom. That's a kind of the good bit. But for me, I would always wait for us to be clear and clean above levels of structure. So for example, with this level here, if I was looking for something, I would be buying when we flip that level, right? I know people will be like, well, why do you not buy here? Well, because no one can catch a bottom. And if you do capture bottom, it may go up a little bit and it may melt. and you don't want to be on the bad side of that. You want to break structure. You want to break something that enables you to understand that there's a support level below you. Therefore, you've got an area to get out just in case things go wrong again. You've got to go with momentum. Momentum is not finding the bottom and hoping it bounces. It's a lottery ticket, really it is. So you've got to remember that. And if you don't do that, there's a higher chance you will lose money. It's all about probability, this market. And you've got to look at those levels. And again, same with this one here, right? Even though it goes up, we did a monstrous ABC like kind of pattern. And you've got to look for a level. And the one thing about this one was kind of clear. We're above the total market cap, one indicator. We've had an obvious kind of, divergence kind of appearing over the course of time. Not very clear in terms of the wick, but on the lower time frame, I'm pretty sure there is one because I've looked at that. But realistically, though, you want to look for it to kind of find a level and a support level. So with this one here, you've had a massive bullish engulfing candle and we pulled back up. So with this one, I'll give you an idea. So if you're going to go from roughly a bottom, you're going to find some sort of pullback within. I would probably even go from this point here, to be fair. And then you're going to look for a sort of a pullback, and we pulled back into the EMA around the 382. And then therefore you've got a level where you can go for it, where you can basically use that EMA and look at that and go, well, actually, if we go below that and close below that, I'll just jump out because it's going to go lower. You've got to look for structure breaks. And when you start going to the point of when you're breaking over structure levels like this, just by the way, it kind of helps. But if for example, if this actually went up to, like, say, this level here, just to give you a point. So if this like went up here and it kind of rejected off that roughly around that EMA was, or didn't really get over it, or it just kind of flopped, you've then got this level here to kind of worry about, which is basically, continuation of a downtrend because you've created another higher, lower high, sorry, which is not good. So you got to look at those levels. You got to look at structure. This is why a downtrend is pretty clear, where we've got lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. You get the picture, right? And the same with this. Once you get a new high and then you get a higher low, you got, right, we've got a higher low. I can enter this. We're in a trend. We're looking good. I've got support levels behind me. And when you add other confluences of other indicators, it gets easier. But too many people are just buying on a whim thinking, well, cool, there's nothing to buy here. Like, why are people buying like of Ethereum? Let's look at Avalanche. This is a chart that I put up a few days ago. We've found this level. We've found a bottom here. We may well be correcting back up. We corrected up to basically where this previous level was. We're probably going to go down again. There is no higher low. There's no opportunity here to buy. You got to wait. So you got to wait for that flip. And that's my personal thoughts. If you don't get it, that's fine. But people are like, oh, buy the dip. Buy what? Just something that's just continues. We call it catching falling knives because it is incredibly, incredibly risky. So I'm hoping this kind of makes sense. But the psychological level is you are going to start getting pulled towards a green candle. If it is in a downtrend, and as I've said in previous tweets, we're in a downtrend, guys, and people are like, no, that's just FUD, that's bollocks, we're not in a downtrend. Really? I've been saying about Bitcoin being in a downtrend for about 6-7 weeks now. It's an obvious clear downtrend. It's a clear down. It has been for a long, long time. And just people fail to listen. You do not want to buy the dip in a downtrend unless you are looking at a key level on BTC and you've sold higher. If you're going for accumulate, if you sold at 60k and you're thinking, right, 35k is a good place to buy, great, secure the bag, get more units. But if you're thinking with an altcoin and you've got no profit and you're just bunging in capital, hoping to kind of, oh no, that's the worst thing you can do because you'll just lose money. You've got to think profit. If you've got profit, it's a bit easier. If you don't have profit and you just basically go into your phone and just bugging capital in, wow, don't do that because you will get wrecked. Another one to look at is a few more. I'll look at like BNB. Again, bear with me, I'll just remove some crap. We've had this nice impulse, and as I say about like trying to get in, look, bottom, oh, safe place to enter. Why? Support levels, EMA, cool. This is up. Divergence. That's what you need to look for. You need to look for a confirmed bottom, not a bottom, as in, oh, look, I called the bottom, when you get your influencers that do like 100x position thinking, oh, look, I called this, and they put $1 on and take a screenshot to make them look good. Watch out for that happens. But yeah, not looking good. But as always, not financial advice, but I'm just trying to teach you something. That was a king move, by the way, on BNB. If you were spotting those downtrends, it's the same way, just reverse it, right? I know I talk a lot and I go off tangent, but if you invert your chart, if you cannot see bearish divergences or bearish elements, just invert your chart, because then guess what? You've done an impulse from this point, it's pulled back, it's hit this level here, perfect level, and then we're going up. You know, just flip it upside down on its head if you can't see it. Anyways, if you like my stuff, subscribe, hit the bell button, leave a like. I am doing a rebrand, by the way, just thought I'd let you know. So the word crypto will be going off my channel. Why? I'm scared of censorship, I'm not going to lie. So it'll be changing. The Mobster will still be in it, but there may be another word, maybe a more generic word, to be fair. But realistically, I do want to cover more financial content, psychological stuff, mindset, because I think it's important to know, instead of just doing crypto all the time, it does get a little bit boring, so to speak. Wow, Chainlink's $14. Crazy. Anyways, enjoy.